Hello, good morning to you, and many thanks for joining us. You're watching Galaxy Today, coming to you from Galaxy Television. My name is Justin Akadoni.
And no doubt on Uche Onyekuruje. Finally, we are already into the week for election 2019.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, it's actually 6 days exactly to the presidential and national assembly elections, and Nigerians are braced up for these elections. We are really prepared, and Trust Galaxy Today will bring you all of the details, all of the information, all the insights that you need to know as electorate as you go cast your vote come February 16th.
Exactly, and I want to believe a whole lot of people already have their PVCs and they're ready to cast their vote. Looking at this, I mean, this is the first time we're going to be having the presidential election before the governors and the other election.
Yes.
What would you, what are your anticipations? What are the things you're thinking? Can you at least guess? Do you have any idea what you think may happen this Saturday?
Well, I just want to believe, I just want to be very optimistic that this set of elections are going to be very, I want to believe very peaceful, because Nigerians know what exactly is at stake, and Nigerians are very peaceable people, and I know that we'll just go and cast a vote en masse come Saturday without any issue, without any security breach, in as much as we have been having reports of vote buying and vote selling, amongst various candidates and various political parties.
Well, I do hope it's going to be peaceful, like you rightly said, and of course, vote. A lot of tips have been going on about what to do, and of course, how to vote and what to avoid. Said do not discuss whatever your choice of whether it is you want to vote for shouldn't be a topic of discussion. When you're done voting, just find a safe place to stay so you can monitor the votes and without violence. I mean, violence never pays anyway. The way to peace has never been violence. So we do hope that it's going to be successful, and let the man who the cap feeds win this election come Saturday 2019.
Yes, let the better man win, and let those who lose gallantly just accept their fate for whatever it is. All right, we have guests here in Lagos, Abuja, and Ibadan. We have a legal practitioner here in our Lagos studios. Plus, we have the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party standing by in Abuja, and of course Dr. Bade Ojo, an associate professor from the University of Ilorin, is our guest from Oyo State. Before we get into the discussion proper, just to remind viewers that you can be a part of this conversation. As always, it's very interactive. Feel free to interact with us on social media using the hashtag Galaxy Today. If you have questions or contributions for our guest, feel free to do so. The number will be displayed shortly on screen. All right, yesterday, the Committee for Defense of Human Rights organized a lecture series for the late doctor and activist Beko Ransom Kuti, and prominent Nigerians were there. And what took center stage in that lecture series was vote buying. Let's take that report to join us again. A lecture has held in honor of the late doctor and activist Beko Ransom Kuti. The lecture, the 13th in its series, was organized by the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, CDHR. Speakers at the program spoke on the implications of vote buying as Nigeria gears up for another set of elections. Second Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Monday Obani, noted with regret how the country has experienced an astronomical rise in the cases of vote buying since 2017. This, he said, is tearing the fabrics of Nigeria's democracy. Obani attributed the menace will continue if underlying issues like massive poverty in the land is not addressed. His position was also shared by other guest speakers who called for proper education of the people.
So if we are preaching this sermon of stop selling your vote, it doesn't make sense to them, because they have not eaten for weeks, they have not eaten for months, and now somebody is coming now to offer them 5,000 naira, and that will go a long way for their family, and you are now preaching to them they shouldn't accept it. We also should examine our own conscience also, because this guy is not having.
Because vote buying is nothing but a corrupt act. The person we are organizing this event, in memory of today, the late Dr. Ransom Kuti, I doubt very much that he will encourage such nonsense. Anybody breaking law, we should see him immediately as an enemy. He's not supposed to be where he is.
Meanwhile, renowned human rights lawyer Femi Falana submitted that vote buying is not only being perpetrated by the poor. He said the menace is systemic and has rubbed off on other stakeholders in the electoral process. He therefore demanded enforcement of penalties for the voters as enshrined in the Constitution.
Policemen and soldiers and prison officials who are involved in election monitoring or whatever, special duty, also collect money officially and unofficially. So when we are now gathered to talk about vote buying, we are blaming poor voters who have been dehumanized by the system, without talking about the fact that the system itself encourages it.
Also speaking, the cousin to the late Beko Ransom Kuti, Yemisi Ransom Kuti, noted that to bring about the desired change in Nigeria, many issues must be addressed from the grassroots. She urged Nigerians not to shy away from engaging public officers, especially at the local government level. Another legal practitioner, while giving a comparative analysis of activism in the past and present, charged rights activists never to compromise in their struggles.
Who is my local government chairman? The man on my street, the leader in the school in our area, the principals, the doctor in the local hospitals, general hospitals. All those foci of development. How are we coming together? You have a right to education. You have a right to good health. You have a right to a clean environment. You have a right to have means of sustaining your life, not handouts. So that philosophy is very important. Sometimes when I'm teaching, depending on the topic,
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Galaxy Today, a Monday edition. We have Barrister Ofeli Evans with us in our Lagos studios, and standing by in Abuja is Shehu Gabam, the National Secretary of the Social Democratic Party. Many thanks for joining us, Barrister Evans, as we count down to the 2019 polls. I want us to start from where we left off at that report at the 13th lecture series of on the late Beko Ransom Kuti. And it all centered on vote buying. You know, Monday Ubani, the second vice chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, talked about how it has become very systemic since 2015. You know, a lot of people have attributed it to many reasons. Some say it's poverty, you know, some say it's just sheer illiteracy. What would you say is the reason for the rising case of vote buying in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think the rising case of vote buying in Nigeria has to do with indiscipline. It is not necessarily poverty. Poverty is one of the causes, okay, one of the causes. But much more than poverty, there is a deep-seated attitudinal problem where the electors feel that they have to exchange their civic duties for some value, a momentary value. I mean, the 5,000 naira they get, the 10,000 naira they give them cannot even take them beyond the week. Okay, so I think there's a lot of issues of indiscipline. And when you look at Section 130 of the Electoral Act, it's stated clearly there as to what constitutes this kind of behavior. The person who is giving and the person who is receiving, both of them are, you know, culpable. And the penalty for this is 12 months imprisonment with a fine of 100,000 naira or both. Okay. You understand? So Nigerians must know that it is not just the person who is giving, the one who is collecting also. In fact, the section goes as far as saying that whoever gives gratification to induce influence, and you see all these rallies they are doing, giving people 5,000 naira to mobilize them, the political parties are already culpable because the vote buying has started, because it said whoever gives gratification to induce, to influence anyone, once the date of election has been announced, That's what the Electoral Act says, Section 130. You check it out. Once the date of a national holiday are announced, whatever money you give to anyone just to influence the person or to induce the person or to cause the same person to forfeit one political party, to go for one political party, or to get certain advantage just because you want to push forth a political party, that is an offense.
Okay, so taking it from what you just said now, since there's a penalty for it, I want to ask why these parties have not been penalized for this act. I mean, it's obvious that they're giving out money to influence.
Yes.
Yeah, and this has been, it's even on, right after the election date has been chosen. Why have they not been penalized for this?
Well, they have not been penalized because the persons, or organizations, or NGO who are supposed to write petition with evidence, because you must prove what you are alleging, who you are sat must prove. You know, Nigerians who detest what is going on, who understand the law, okay, must be able to write petition against whoever is giving and whoever is collecting.
Who is to
evidence.
write the petition?
I mean, as a Nigerian,
Nigerians,
the laws will not activate itself. Somebody must take action.
Okay, so it could be anyone.
Anybody, yes.
Okay.
The laws are stated already. The penalty is there. The fines are there. So all you need to do is to activate it, just like the non-declaration of assets. Okay, whoever thought that high-profile Nigerians would be standing trial some years back, before now, okay, because an NGO wrote a petition against the CJN, someone wrote a petition against the current Senate president, okay, and upon that, the law did not activate itself. People must do the needful. That is what we're talking about.
Right.
If you want to address vote buying, we must address it from that standpoint.
Okay.
And people must take action to rectify the problem.
All right, let's bring the political parties into this discussion as we join Abuja Shehu Gabam, National Secretary of the Social Democratic Party. Many thanks for standing by on Galaxy today. Let's still talk about vote buying, and most times Nigerians are quick to place it on the shoulders of the political parties. You represent the Social Democratic Party. Let's hear from you. Let's hear your own opinion concerning this issue of vote buying. Our political parties, should they be pulled out of this particular issue?
Let me also remind you that on this same platform, SDP have complained bitterly about the vote buying system that was brought into our electoral process.
Still there. Talked about the position of the Social Democratic Party concerning vote buying and how you have condemned it. Let's look at other issues as we count down to the 2019 elections for Saturday. Lots of people are saying that INEC has been compromised. Some people are saying they're not as independent as they are trying to portray to Nigerians. In your opinion now, looking at all that has been laid down for Saturday elections, would you say the electoral umpire is well ready to conduct this polls for Saturday?
I don't think really they are compromised. The national chairman have a very personality. He also know that he will leave a history behind, and so far he's doing excellently well. And he has admitted that virtually everything they requested was given to them. They are ready for this election. They are ready to conduct this election. So I don't think we should start castigating them since there's no any formal complaint from them. I want to appeal to all of us, the political actors, that we must learn how to respect situations as they come. Otherwise, we'll create a system that will end up haunting us as politicians. We must learn to be tolerant. We must learn to accept defeat where necessary. The country is above any other individual. What matters is our country. This election must be peaceful. We must exit it peacefully. We must have a peaceful transition. Otherwise, we'll end up setting back our democratic institutions. And the whole country should be able to organize themselves and conduct election in the best way possible. We have conducted elections in the past. I think one of the most tense elections that I witnessed is 2015 election. Everybody thought that there's going to be, heaven is going to fall. Heaven hasn't fallen. So heaven is not going to fall as a result of this election. Those who feel that they will ignite or they will incite violence against innocent people and they will fly out of the country, they should remember that they cannot. We will all
All right, I will still try and reconnect with Shehu Gabam there in Abuja. Let's talk to our barrister here in the studios in Lagos, Ivan Mufeli. You know, he talked about INEC, and according to him, the electoral umpire is well set for the 2019 elections. In your opinion, is that so?
Well, from what we have seen, INEC have been given the necessary resources it requires to conduct a befitting election that will make us proud. Okay. However true that is, we should also factor in other issues like issues of logistics, because you see, preparation for election is anchored on submerging constituencies, meaning that society, the people, the locations, the factors of disruptions that we have, like insurgency and people who want to take the laws into their hands. All those are external factors that INEC is not in charge of. So in as much as INEC is ready and they think they are ready, we should also be looking at the security agencies, the strategies they have adopted to make this work, because it is not enough to have INEC prepared and set. We must also look at the security agency, the police, how prepared are they, what are the security strategy, what is the kind of procedure they are adopting for this election, and how well are they mobilized, and how well are they prepared for this, the civil defense and all other security agencies. We must factor this in, because if we believe that INEC is ready, the external factors must also be taken care of. But I think INEC is ready, but my fear is whether or not INEC have a mind of its own. That is even more important than every other variables. INEC must have a mind of its own. If it does not, we will run into problems.
But do you have any reason to suggest that they might not have a mind of their own?
Of course, we know that the construction of our political framework in Nigeria is that the president appoints the INEC chairman.
True.
Now, the INEC is supposed to be independent of whatever, its relationship should be independent and severed from the executive. But that is not always the case. We always have certain influences here and there, okay? Sometimes the umpire who is supposed to stand dispassionately is leaning towards the executive. And that is a problem for us in democratic process, okay? Of course, I do have reasons to feel INEC does not have a mind of its own. I've canvassed that with evidence and proof. When you look at the political trajectory and you look at the way past elections have been conducted and how the INEC chairman have been used in previous elections from 1999 to date, you will find that if nothing is done to change that, we may still not be having the right kind of voting system. Okay, because if you look at the 2015 election, you find out that however peaceful that election was, it was still rigged, heavily rigged. Okay, and that could have been prevented if the umpire is practically severed from every influence and undue advantages that is created here and there. So I think that in as much as we believe INEC is ready, let's also look at other variables accordingly.
Okay, so saying that that's your own thoughts, that's your opinion. Well, I kind of agree with you in a way, but saying that we have just few days to election, would you rather suggest to INEC to put some things in place? Like just on Friday, I heard some people complaining that they are yet to have their PVCs, and then some were even told that they won't be having it until after election.
Yes.
So, in a situation like that, where INEC has made people feel like the PVCs are ready, come and pick up, and yet they're not picking up, How do you think this should be addressed, where people would not think or imagine that there's a rigging, there might be a rigging somewhere?
Yes, I've had a lot of complaints to that effect. INEC had asked people to come and pick PVCs. They get there. INEC also have an internal problem of having these PVCs ready. What they do is this: you register in a location, your PVC is supposed to be found there. But most of the times, your PVC is not there, it's in another location. And now they're asking you to come to the location where you register. And then the PVC is not there somewhere else. So these problems, I think INEC ought to have sorted these things out. You understand? Because the readiness I talked about is that they are ready for the people to come and cast. That is those who already have PVC.
Yeah, PVC.
But there is you just open a vista of unreadiness, because a lot of people have been disenfranchised as a result of this. Even though they have extended the collection period to Saturday and all that, but we still have a lot of persons who have not collected, people who are willing to vote, who are out there to pick their PVC, and they've not been able to get it. I think that INEC need to look into that, because people should not be disenfranchised. We must make a way for everybody and have a level playing field for everyone.
All right. Let's go back to Abuja now. Shehu Gabam is still standing by. Thank you for staying on. Let's talk about electioneering campaign. Right now, the campaigns are rife. Counting down 6 days. In your opinion, how would you say the stakeholders, specifically the political parties and their candidates, have they played by the rules? We've had reports of skirmishes and violence around several rallies, and of course with the issues of hate speeches also abound this period. Let me just get your overall, rating on the election campaign so far. Issues with Abuja. All right, viewers, you can still be part of this conversation. Feel free to interact with us on social media. You can also do that by sending an SMS, and the number will be displayed on screen shortly. Okay, I think Shehu Gabam is ready for us. I asked a question earlier, and I don't know if you got it. Let me just repeat. I wanted to get your candid opinion concerning electioneering campaign so far this season as we count down to the elections. Would you say that political parties and their candidates have conducted themselves appropriately?
Well, given the fact that we don't have, the system is not perfect, and we don't expect to have a perfect system, I believe
Well, I'm afraid that's as much as we can take from our end in Abuja. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back. We'll join Ibadan. We still have Barrister Ivan Ofeli with us here in Lagos to join us again.